Welcome to Module 3 in the Healthy Minds for Life Mental Health Education Series. Before we begin, we would like to thank Windsor-Essex Community Foundation, 646 Program, and Green Shield Canada for their generous funding for this program. This section focuses on strategies for families and caregivers. So, let's begin by asking, what is caregiving? Caregiving is defined as caring for the physical, emotional, psychological, financial, and spiritual needs of another person. Caregiving can be something that evolves slowly over time, or can be something that happens suddenly as a result of an accident or illness. Persons requiring care may live close by or thousands of miles away. Do you fit the profile of a caregiver? Most caregivers are middle-aged women. They are often employed full-time. They are often caring for more than one person. They are often caring for a parent. They have been providing care for more than 2 years. They do not live with the person whom they care for. They are not primary caregivers. But this is changing. For example, parents with teenage and adult children. Who is a care recipient? Just like caregivers, care recipients can also be anyone. Caregivers across Canada give care to immediate and extended family members, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and others in the communities. Many people receive care from more than one caregiver. Care recipients can live with caregivers or in a long-term care or assisted living facility, but most live in a place of their own. Oftentimes, caregivers can reach their maximum level of distress. There are 4 main areas that are excellent indicators for identifying how stress is affecting your life. Loss of sleep. Do you have difficulty falling asleep? Do you wake up in the middle of the night? Do you have trouble falling back asleep? Do you have stressful dreams? Personal health. Do you get sick more often than usual? Have you developed chronic conditions like high blood pressure or depression, for example? Have you recently gained or lost significant weight? Emotional health. Do minor issues make you cry? Are you experiencing difficulty in controlling your temper? Do you feel constantly under pressure? Do you worry more than you think you should? Do you feel hopeless about your current situation? And loss of interests. Are you spending less time with your friends and family? Have you given up hobbies that you once enjoyed? Have you lost interest in things you used to enjoy? So how'd you make out? If you feel that you experience these indicators quite often, then there is a high chance that you are suffering from caregiver stress or burnout. Let's look at possible negative impacts of caregiving. Emotional, physical, or psychological exhaustion, conflict in important relationships, depression and/or anxiety, marital strain, family strain, excessive alcohol or drug use, conflict with work responsibilities, neglect or abuse of an elderly person. As for the emotional stress that could be experienced, caring for a loved one is often a difficult road that does not have to be taken alone. There is hope. Here are some techniques that work. Share the burden. Research the concern or condition your family member has. Knowledge is power, but remember to avoid Dr. Google. Develop routines that include the person you're caring for. Give them some responsibility for their care. Learn about other community resources that can lessen your load, for example, respite care, VON, or Meals on Wheels. Create a space in your home that is specifically for you. Have an outlet to express sorrow, anger, concerns, like a best friend, church auxiliary, or support group. Prepare for the future well in advance. Examples of this include wills, power of attorney, or extended care. Caregiving yourself. In order to be an effective caregiver, you must remember to take care of yourself first. The best way to manage your stress and build resilience is to invest in the things that matter most: you, your family, friends, community. Cultivating supportive relationships in all areas of your life is a key to handling the challenges and hurdles we all face. How can you invest in your family, friends, and community? You can pay attention to the things around you. Get together for meals. Share kind words. Communication and active listening that's both honest and open. Discuss finances and plan. Reach out to others and for help. Laugh often. Become a part of, not apart from others. Find connections that are meaningful to you. Help others help you. Anger and frustration are a normal part of being around someone who needs help on an ongoing basis who might not be accepting of help. It's not always possible to be in perfect control of your emotions. Anger just comes out sometimes. Forgive yourself and find constructive ways to express yourself. Learn to walk away and give yourself some time. Feelings like things are out of control often produces feelings of anxiousness. Anxiety can emerge as a short fuse, the impulse to run away, not sleeping, heart palpitations, or the urge to cry. Pay attention to your anxiety. It is our body's early warning system that something isn't right. When you feel anxious, stop, breathe, pray, meditate. Anything that will give you a break from what's happening in the moment. It is easy to become bored when you are not doing things that fulfill your own wants and needs. Respite can help. Getting a break from caregiving and having some time to yourself will not only increase your patience and resilience, but will give you a chance to do something that is meaningful to you. On bad days, one often has the feeling of wishing you didn't have to be there, or that this ordeal will be over soon. On good days, caring for someone can be a gift to both you and the care receiver. Allow yourself to feel both sets of feelings. Neither the bad feelings nor the good ones will last forever. Sometimes this is feeling hopeless or helpless, the inability to sleep, or trouble getting up and facing the day. And sometimes it makes you want to cry. Depression is treatable and should be taken seriously. Professional help is available. Talk to your physician if you think you might be depressed, or join a caregiver support group and ask for help from friends and family. Don't forget about exercise. Moving your body is a proven way to relieve some of the symptoms of depression. Caregivers take on a huge amount of responsibility, not only for the day-to-day care of the care receiver, but also for all other things that might happen. Scaring ourselves about the what-ifs can be paralyzing and keep us from enjoying the what is. It is important to have contingency plans, so it might make sense to have a backup caregiver in mind just in case, or think about how you would handle a medical emergency. Frustration is a part of many other feelings, such as ambivalence, anger, and impatience. Sometimes, as a caregiver, you feel that you can't do anything right. If you are tired, you are more likely to get frustrated. Acknowledge how frustrating caregiving can be. Join a support group to learn the tricks other caregivers have learned to make coping easier. Watching the care receiver decline or not being able to do the things that used to be easy and natural is sad. We also grieve for the care receiver, the person who used to be, and our relationship with that person. We often need to grieve the loss we are experiencing on a daily basis, or it will come out as something else. Sometimes creating a ritual can be helpful. We tend to want to avoid the sadness that comes with grief, but allowing ourselves to feel it promotes healing. Guilt in caregiving comes in many forms. There is guilt over not having done enough to have prevented them from getting sick in the first place. There is guilt over feeling like you want this to end, or guilt over having been impatient. And sometimes, caregivers feel guilty about thinking of their own needs and see themselves as selfish, especially if they do something like go to eat or see a movie. You need permission to forgive yourself. It's impossible to be in perfect control of how you feel at all times. Consider changing guilt to self-compassion. I'm in a difficult situation. I have to make difficult decisions sometimes. How difficult is it to get your care receiver up, dressed, given breakfast, and to their doctor's appointment all before 10 a.m.? It's understandable that you would get impatient sometimes. When tired, frustrated, or trying to keep things under control, it's natural to want to speed up and have compliance from the care receiver. So, first, slow down. Leave a lot of time to accomplish tasks. Control the environment as much as you can. Create a list of things you are in control of and are not to better understand what you can and cannot control. Do you sometimes feel jealous of your friends who are able to go out and do things that you can't because of your caregiving responsibilities? Are you jealous of siblings who aren't doing their share to help? Feeling jealous of those who have it easier than us is normal. It's okay to admit to being jealous. We often have flashes of resentment and envy at other people's good fortune compared to our own. Jealousy becomes a problem when we wallow in it. Focus on what you do have and find a place in your heart for gratitude. Most of us do not want to be dependent on someone else. Learning to accept help is hard. So at times, they may not see how much we are giving up in order to care for them. Sometimes we have to give ourselves our own pat on the back. Writing in a journal about things you do each day might help you appreciate how much you give and how much you do. Having a support group to cheer you on is important, and both comforting and necessary to remain resilient through your caregiving journey. The longer you are a caregiver, the more isolated you may start to feel. It is easy to lose a sense of self. Find ways to get out of the house and involved in something other than caregiving. Learn about resources from your local area about respite programs or daycare programs that will allow you to get a much-needed and well-deserved break. No one can do this job alone. Caregivers experience many losses, some of which have already been mentioned. Loss of control, independence, income, loss of your best friend, or the future. Identifying your losses can help you to cope with them. For each of us, the losses will be different. When you know what you are feeling, you will be able to look at the loss and think about what might help you deal with it. Sleep is often postponed while you grab a few minutes of alone time after the care receiver goes to bed. Oftentimes, you can't fall asleep or stay asleep because you are worrying about all the stressors that come with being a caregiver. Sleep has to be put on the priority list. Lack of sleep leads to obesity, illness, agitation, inefficiency in accomplishing tasks, and a state of mental fogginess, among other things. If you are having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, talk to your physician. As a caregiver, you also need to think about yourself. Just pushing through each day will eventually wear you out and cause you to burn out. When you are put in a situation not of your choosing, it's not uncommon to feel negative and resentful. Little things easily become big things when we feel unappreciated and unacknowledged. Feeling like you have to do it all, and all by yourself, is a guaranteed way to feel resentment. Having help from your family may make your situation easier, but sometimes family attentions make it harder to get help. The more help and support you accept, the easier it will be to let go of feeling burdened and resentful of those who are not doing their share. Caring for a person can be a wonderful and positive experience. It can be full of laughter and close moments. You may get a lot of satisfaction from being able to help the person you care for and feel things like personal growth by learning skills like patience, which allows you to give the best care, a greater appreciation for health and well-being, as well as strengthened relationships. Often, the caregiving role helps you become much closer, physically and emotionally, to the person you are caring for, and this can make you feel more appreciated. You learn that through hope and courage comes strength. There is a great deal that you can do to take responsibility for your own personal well-being and to ensure your own needs are met. Some ways to do this are: accept your own feelings and know that you are not alone. Take time to learn. Stay connected. Join a support group. Take time and seek help for yourself. Develop coping strategies for challenging behaviors. Understand that this is not personal, and remember that some behaviors may be beyond your loved one's control. Sometimes caregivers have misconceptions that increase stress and get in the way of good self-care. Here are some of the most commonly expressed examples. I am responsible for their health. If I don't do it, no one will. If I do it right, I will get the love, attention, and respect I deserve. Our family always takes care of their own. I promised my father I would always take care of my mother. Many times, attitudes and beliefs form personal barriers that stand in the way of caring for yourself. Once you've identified any personal barriers to good self-care, you can begin to change your behavior, moving forward one small step at a time. Let's look at some tools in your caregiving toolbox. These helpful tools aren't just for those we support. Tool number 1, reducing personal stress. The stress you feel is not only the result of your caregiving situation, but also the result of your perceptions of it. It is important to remember that you are not alone in your experiences. Here are the steps to managing stress. Recognize warning signs early. These might include irritability, sleep problems, and forgetfulness. Know your own warning signs and act to make changes. Identify sources of stress. Identify what you can and cannot change. Ask yourself, what do I have some control over? What can I change? Even a small change can make a big difference. Take action by doing simple activities like walking and other forms of exercise, gardening, meditation, or having coffee with a friend. Identify stress reducers that work for you. Tool number 2, setting goals. Setting goals, or deciding what you would like to accomplish in the next 3 to 6 months, is an important tool for taking care of yourself. Here are some sample goals you might set. Take a break from caregiving. Get help with caregiving tasks like bathing and preparing meals. Engage in activities that will make you feel healthier. Goals are generally too big to work on all at once. We are more likely to reach a goal if we break it down into smaller action steps. Once you've set a goal, ask yourself, what steps do I take to reach my goal? Make an action plan by deciding which steps you will take first and when. Then get started. Tool number 3, seeking solutions. Seeking solutions to difficult situations is, of course, one of the most important tools in caregiving. Once you've identified a problem, taking action to solve it can change the situation and also change your attitude to a more positive one, giving you more confidence in your abilities. Steps to seeking solutions. Number 1, identify the problem while looking at the situation with an open mind. Number 2, list possible solutions. One idea is to try a different perspective. Number 3, select one solution from the list, then try it. Number 4, evaluate the results. Ask yourself how well your choice worked. Number 5, try a second solution. If your first idea didn't work, select another. But don't give up on the first. Sometimes an idea just needs fine-tuning. Number 6, use other resources. Ask friends, family members, and professionals for suggestions. Number 7, if nothing seems to help, accept that the problem may not be solvable right now. You can revisit it at another time. All too often, we jump from step 1 to step 7 and then feel defeated and stuck. Concentrate on keeping an open mind while listening and experimenting with possible solutions. Tool number 4, communicating constructively. When you communicate clearly, assertively, and constructively, you will be heard and get the help and support you need. Communication guidelines. Use I messages rather than you messages, saying I feel angry rather than you made me angry. This enables you to express your feelings without blaming others or causing them to become defensive. Respect the rights and feelings of others. Be clear and specific. Speak directly to the person. Don't hint or hope the person will guess what you need. When both parties speak directly, the chances of reaching understanding are greater. Be a good listener. Listening is the most important aspect of communication. Many caregivers don't know how to marshal the goodwill of others and are reluctant to ask for help. You may not wish to burden others or admit that you can't handle everything yourself. Be prepared with a mental list of ways that others can help you. When you break down the jobs into very simple tasks, it is easier for people to help. Don't wait until you get overwhelmed and exhausted or feeling unwell. Reaching out for help when you need it is a sign of personal strength. Tips on how to ask. Consider the person's special abilities and interests. If you know a friend who enjoys cooking, ask for help with meal preparation. Resist asking the same person repeatedly. Timing is important. Pick the best time to make a request. Prepare a list of things that need doing. This list might include errands, yard work, or a visit with your loved one. Let the helper choose what she would like to do. Be prepared for hesitance or refusal. Try not to take it personally when a request is turned down. The person is turning down the task, not you. Try not to let refusal prevent you from asking for help again. Avoid weakening your request. It's only a thought, but would you consider staying with them while I went to church? This request sounds like it's not very important to you. Use I statements to make specific requests. I would like to go to church on Sunday. Would you stay with them from 9 a.m. until noon? Tool number 6, talking to the physician. In addition to taking on the household chores, shopping, transportation, and personal care, 37% of caregivers also administer medications, injections, and medical treatment to their care recipient. 77% of those caregivers report the need to ask for advice about medications and medical treatments. The person they usually turn to is their physician. While caregivers will discuss their loved one's care with the physician, they seldom talk about their own health. Building a partnership with a physician that addresses the health needs of the care recipient and the caregiver is crucial. Tips on communicating with your physician. Prepare questions ahead of time. Make a list of your most important concerns and problems. Issues that you might want to discuss with a physician are changes in symptoms, medications, or general health of the care recipient, your own comfort in your caregiving situation, or specific help you need to provide care. Enlist the help of the nurse. Many caregiving questions relate more to nursing than to medicine. In particular, the nurse can answer questions about various tests and examinations, preparing for surgical procedures, providing personal care, and managing medications at home. Make sure your appointment meets your needs. Call ahead. Before the appointment, check to see if the doctor is on schedule. Remind the receptionist of special needs when you arrive. Take someone with you. A companion can ask questions you feel uncomfortable asking and can help you remember what the physician and nurse said. Use assertive communication and I messages. Enlist the medical care team as partners in care. Present what you need, what your concerns are, and how the doctor and/or nurse can help. Tool number 7, exercise. You may be reluctant to start exercising, even though you've heard that it's one of the healthiest things you can do. Fortunately, research suggests that you can maintain or at least partly restore endurance, balance, strength, and flexibility through everyday physical activities like walking and gardening. Even household chores can improve your health. The key is to increase your physical activity by exercising and using your own muscle power. Exercise promotes better sleep, reduces tension and depression, and increases energy and alertness. Walking, one of the best and easiest exercises, is a great way to get started. Tool number 8, learning from our emotions. Caregiving often involves a range of emotions. Some feelings are more comfortable than others. When you find that your emotions are intense, they might mean the following: that you need to make a change in your caregiving situation, that you are grieving a loss, that you are experiencing increased stress, that you need to be assertive and ask for what you need. Now, let's turn to the Caregiver Pledge. I understand that I can't care for anyone else if I don't also care for myself. I will keep an image in my mind of putting the oxygen mask on myself first. I will remember that the only person I can change is myself. I cannot change my loved one who is ill, nor my family members. I will find opportunities to laugh daily. These might come in movies, jokes, television, or with friends who can see the humor in my situation and remind me to do the same. I will get away from my caregiving duties on a regular basis, even if it is just for a walk around the block. But I will also find ways to have lunch with a friend, window shop, breathe in fresh air, watch the sunset, or eat a hot fudge sundae. I will visit a support group, either online at caregiver.org or in person in my community, so that I know that I am not alone. If a support group isn't right for me, I will find a friend to talk to, or call my family consultant or attend a workshop. I will learn as much as I can about my loved one's illness so I can better care for him or her with understanding. I will learn techniques that will make caregiving easier for both of us. I will say yes when people offer to help. I will make a list of things they can do and post it on the refrigerator so that when those offers come, I'll be ready. When there are not offers, I will ask for help, even though it might be hard to do so. I will use community resources such as Meals on Wheels, transit, daycare programs, and volunteer respite programs to help make my caregiving duties easier. I will find something I really like to do and make sure I find time to do it on a regular basis. Just because I'm a caregiver doesn't mean I have to give up everything that is meaningful to me. I will remember that I am loved and appreciated, even when my loved one can't tell me that. I will honor the nurturing, responsibility, caring, and support that I provide to my loved one as a gift I give. That wraps up Section 3 of the Healthy Minds for Life series. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our community partners. Be sure to tune into Section 4, where we focus on understanding anxiety and worry.